Hello, welcome to Believe TV. My name is Bruce Sampson and I'll be your host. If this is your first time watching the program, allow me to tell you a little bit about it. So, this is an interactive forum, or it's intended to be interactive, where we talk about any number of topics. Sometimes we have guests on, and sometimes it's just you and me having a conversation. And I want you all to feel free to, in the comment section, to uh, say hi, tell us where you're watching, viewing from, and also to ask questions or add your own commentary to the discussion. Always welcome. At the end of the day, our theme is embrace the possible. And so we always hope to um, bring some light and joy and inspiration or something out of whatever we're doing, even if it's just a little bit of entertainment for a minute and distraction, right? So um, I did a show on Thursday on Thanksgiving, which was kind of a special show. I normally don't do shows during the week, the weekdays. It's usually just on the weekends. And I did one this last time. Actually, let me fix this really quickly. So this particular show that we did on Thursday was actually for my birthday. Wait a second, is this my old classmate? How are you doing? Columbia, Mississippi? Is that where you are? Awesome. Good to see you, Tanya. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Wow. That takes me back a little bit. But it's good to hear from you. Um, yeah, so if you're watching, drop in and say hi and tell me where you're listening. Um, but on Thursday, we it was all about being grateful, and every message, every church service, every situation I was around, um, kept focusing on being grateful, and especially using gratitude as a form of dealing with other issues. So whatever we're going through in life, and we're all going through stuff because of this pandemic, uh, along with a host of other things that we're going through, that instead of becoming bitter, instead of us going at each other like this and trying to point to one another and making each other the enemy, or whatever it is that we're doing, or sinking into a depression, whatever those things may happen to be and manifest themselves as, the idea is if you show gratitude for the things you have, if you take stock of what you have rather than what you don't have, then that draws that energy into a positive light for yourself and lifts you up rather than allowing the other things to bring you down. And so that's what it was really about, because Thursday also happened to be my birthday. And so, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection lately, and a number of different things were going through my head. And like I said, church services I've been to, different movies I'd watched, just a whole host of things were all adding up to this thing about gratitude. And so, and hello to my dear friend in Germany, Miss Karen. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Um, so yeah, that's what we talked about on Thursday, and so it was kind of neat. I just went through some of the things that I was grateful for, and then I had a couple of guests pop in. I wasn't sure who was going to pop in, but I put out an offer to a few friends, and some of them dropped in and said what they were grateful for, and were really kind and wishing me a happy birthday and all of that. So that was really cool. Hello, Miss Renita Cook. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in. I know I may have thrown some folks with this difference in time. Normally, I do this program at 3 p.m. Central Time, and this is the second time in the last month that I've moved it up an hour. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. The main reason is because uh, the time that I would normally be starting the broadcast is the time that the New Orleans Saints play. So I honestly moved it up just so that I don't have to miss the much of the Saints game, uh, and hoping that more people would tune in. Um, at least Saints fans would tune in and say, "Well, we can catch Bruce because he's a little bit earlier, and then we can catch the Saints game." Um, anyway, today I was thinking about, um, and I guess I promoted this as Tanya's laughing. I'm just being honest, right? I'm just being honest. Um, so, and that may be a question for you all. Like I'd like to put out a query to everyone to ask them, what is the best time to do this show? Because 2 years ago, when I first started doing this broadcast, I just did it at random times, just whenever I was feeling the spirit. So it could be in the morning, the afternoon, evenings, during the week, anytime. And then all of a sudden, I started doing it on Sundays, and I just seemed to develop an audience there. But I was wondering if I should do it somewhere else. Oh, I missed somebody else. Hey, Rebecca, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. So yeah, I don't know if there should be some way to send out some type of um, what do you call that, questionnaire or something to ask folks. But if anybody has a very strong opinion about when you'd prefer for the show to happen, um, let me know. So today, um, I titled this broadcast something having to do with questions, and so uh, I was just trying to think of just something fun to do, where I asked a bunch of different questions and seeing if you all wanted to play along and see if you could answer them. So I have different categories of questions, and so I'm going to start with Believe Camp. Um, so Miss Karen says in Germany, we're seven we are 7 hours behind you. Okay, so you're 7 hours ahead of us. Okay, so that means it's 9 p.m. where you are. Okay, gotcha. So you're staying up late to hang out with me. I appreciate that. Thank you, Miss Karen. Um, oh, hi, Aya. Oh, I know you're always so busy. You have so much stuff on your plate going on all the time. So my friend Aya, she's an artist and also a curator of I guess it's not a museum, is it? It's art gallery. It's a gallery and holistic center here in my hometown. She's not actually from here, but she relocated here and opened it, and it's awesome. And so glad that we were able to kindle a friendship. So I appreciate you so much, and I learn so much from you all the time. So thank you for tuning in. So I thought I would start with some questions pertaining to the Believe camps that we do. So if any of you are watching, you don't know what I'm talking about. Um, about 7 years ago, I started a project that was supposed to be a one-time thing for my hometown. I was still living in Southern California, and I grabbed um, a number of my very talented professional friends who had experience in the entertainment industry and in education and had a passion for youth. And I wanted them to come to my hometown, and I wanted to do a week-long summer camp that was dedicated to the performing arts, going to be hosted at my high school, Bogalusa High School. And at the end of the week, we were going to do a performance. So it's going to bring in these amazing people and work with the kids. And the idea was just to bring some joy and to help them believe in themselves, because I'd seen on visits prior to that, I had seen a change in the youth and in the community, and this sense of doom and gloom, to be honest. And some of the young people I talked to, just yeah, they just seemed to be sad and just didn't have a whole lot of hope and energy and faith, and just didn't seem to be inspired. And so Believe was actually kind of an answer to that, just to come home just once for 1 week and try to, just energize the community by working with the youth and inspiring them with these inspirational teachers that I was bringing. And so uh, we taught singing, dancing, acting, and we did some other creative things as well. And so we did it, and it was themed. The theme of the camp and the show was live, laugh, love that first year. So everything in the show had something to do with living, laughing, loving, right? And it was all meant to just lift everybody up. And so that's what we did that very first uh, summer back in 2014. And before we could even get done with the first camp, we were already doing before we could actually even do the first camp. Um, we also, we ended up doing another one, and then some other stuff, but I don't want to give away too much of what the questions are going to be in just a second. So for those of you who are familiar with Believe, or if you just want to take a guess, that's cool too. So if you're watching this live, this is going to be a lot more fun. If you're watching it on replay, um, it may not be as fun. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But still play along with us anyway. Um, so, and I kind of just already gave you the answer to this one. So we'll start off with something um, easy to do. They don't have anything to do here. Yeah, I mean, actually, they do have more than they did before. It's just one, COVID is happening now, so that makes everything really difficult. And I think a lot of it has to do with communication, but we'll get to that in a second. So let's jump into the questions, okay? Um, so the first question is, what are the three main arts disciplines that we teach at Believe Camp? What are the three main arts disciplines that we teach at Believe Camp? And I just mentioned them a second ago. So this is our warm up round. So anybody want to drop in there and type in an answer? The three main performing arts disciplines that we teach at Believe Camp. What do we teach? What type of performing arts do we teach? And Dee Dee chimes in from Southern California with singing, dancing, and acting. That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. So thank you for playing. So it's just that simple. So singing, dancing, and acting. Now we have, since that first year, we've branched out and we've added some other elements as well. But those are the core. That's the main thing. Oh my gosh, there's my friend from New Jersey. Um, my old homestay, sing, dance, act. Yes, I wish your boys could come participate in it when we're able to do it again. Or if you want to host us and have us come do it there, that'd be fun. So just hint, hint, just throwing out, a little something, something. But thank you for tuning in. It's good to see you. Um, I see that both the boys are growing so much as I stalk you on Facebook too. So yes, singing, dancing, acting. Those are the three main arts disciplines that we teach at Believe Camp. This next question is a little, no, let's skip to this one. What city hosted the first full Believe Camp? What city hosted, and I'll have me too, and you very welcome as well. Thanks. So what city hosted the very first Believe Camp? And that's kind of a trick question in a way. So you kind of have to already know. And I'll give you a hint. It was a city in Louisiana. I'll tell you that. So it's a town in Louisiana. I'll give you a minute to see if anybody wants to chime in and venture a guess. Okay, Miss Renita Cook says Bogalusa. And that would seem to be, and Miss Tanya also says Bogalusa. That would definitely be the logical answer that you would think, because that's what it was created for, right? I created it to come and do as a one-time thing. Hey, Dan. Hey, my friend. Boogaloosa. I love that. I love how people spell Bogalusa because it's an unusual name. Um, so no, that's why I said it's a trick question, because although that was in, that was what it was intended to do, we actually ended up doing the very first one in Slidell, Louisiana. Yeah, imagine that. So I had some friends who were arts teachers over at Slidell High School. And when they saw me promoting stuff online on Facebook and stuff about doing this camp, they reached out and said, hey, it'd be really cool if you could bring that here. And so, hey, Bob, good to see you, bud. I loved your pictures from Thanksgiving. That was awesome. Beautiful family. Um, so yeah, so we planned to do it in Bogalusa, but then when they reached out from Slidell, they actually asked for a couple of weeks before that. And so I think the way it worked out was the week before the week of the 4th of July, we did Slidell. Then we took a week off for the 4th of July so people go visit and spend time with family and stuff. Then they came back, and then we did Bogalusa. So a little bit of a trick question in there, but yeah, that's the trivia of that and the history of that. So the first city that we actually hosted a full Believe camp was in Slidell, Louisiana. But if you want to say the first actual Believe classes that we ever did were actually in Rowland Heights, California, because we actually did a trial run, a one-day event where we just kind of pulled parts of everything that we were going to do, and we worked with a group of students. So at the time, I had performing arts after school program, and a number of other situations where I worked with young people with the arts. And so I invited a number of them to come over and just spend the day with us at Rowland High School, and we did a one-day event where we just tried out some of the material and some of our concepts, and it seemed to work well. And that was just before we all packed up to head to Louisiana to do these other camps. So that's the answer to that. I kind of helped you out a little bit with this, but the next question is, name the states that Believe has produced camps in. The states of the United States that we have produced camps in. What are the states? I'm going to try to count them so I can give you a hint of how many there are. Okay, so thus far there are four states. Now we've done multiple cities in those states, but there have been 4 states. What 4 states would you guess? There's one that's real obvious because I've already said it. And I've mentioned the 2 towns that we went to. Okay, Miss Renita says California, Louisiana. Okay. Oh, wait, did I do that right? Hold on. Yes. Okay. So I'm counting it right. Yes, there are 4. So, okay, I'll go ahead and tell you that those 2 are correct, but there are 2 more. What are the other 2? Anybody? Bueller. So we have California, Louisiana. Yes. And it's kind of cheating because I already kind of said it. And Miss Renita is hedging her bet saying New York. Nope, we have not done New York. And Dan says Mississippi. That's number 3. Yes, Mississippi is correct. We have done multiple cities in Mississippi. We've done multiple cities in Louisiana. We did We've actually done multiple cities in California as well, and I'll tell you about that later. Yeah, so far we have California, Louisiana, Mississippi. There's one more state, and actually I can even tell you that um, if all goes well in 2021, and if everything is pseudo back to normal, we'll probably be adding another one. So at least you admitted that you cheated, Scott. That's okay. So Scott Martin chimes in and says Florida. He said looked it up. So I assume you went to the website. Did you? I assume you went to BelieveCamp.com because I have it right there scrolling at the bottom where the website is. So Florida, that is correct. So those are the 4 states that we've been to. We've been to Miss Karen guessed Arizona. No, he beat you to it. The 4 states we've been to are Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, and California. Not necessarily in that order, but yes, those are all the 4 states that we've been to with the Believe camps. Okay, so next question is, and I'm going to give a I guess a preface to it. I guess I don't know what you would call it, but so we have done a number of projects in cooperation. Yes, Ms. Tanya, thank you. Actually, in conjunction with China. So for those that don't know, the very first year, again, I planned to do Believe one time, just for my hometown, just that one time. Then Slidell said, hey, do it here. Cool. I was like, yeah, we're already making the trip out there. We might as well. That'll be fun. Let's go to Slidell. And we got to do Slidell first and to kind of, get our legs underneath us and stuff. And then we came and did it in Bogalusa. Well, just before I left California to come out here to prepare for the camps, a friend of mine who worked in the education system in California introduced me to a friend of his who was from China and did lots of projects with cultural exchange and student exchange programs. And so we went out to dinner and he introduced me to this guy. He just said it seemed like someone I should get to know. And he asked me to tell him about my project that I was about to do. So I told him about Believe. And he was so fascinated by it that he actually flew out for the Slidell camp. So the very first one we did, he flew out here to Louisiana and oh, Miss Karen, don't worry about it. You're great. So he flew out to Louisiana to Slidell, and he attended every single day of camp and saw the show and all of that. And the next day, he loved it so much, he invited our whole team out to lunch, and he took us all out and fed us, and we had a nice long talk. And at the end of it, he said, the children of China need this. So one day, I hope to bring you all to China. And so, we all applauded. And went, oh, that's fantastic, And, in my mind, I'm thinking, that's never going to happen. Thanks for the thought. That's a really nice thought, but I can't imagine putting that together. So he left and went back to China. So I ended up getting a call the week that we were doing the Bogalusa camp, and he asked me if I was willing to and able to come to China and teach a one-day, one-man version of Believe. And I said, well, sure, I could do that under the right circumstances. Sure, I could do that. And so he said, okay, great, I'll call you back. So he calls me back a few days later, and he said, okay, I've set everything up. I will send you, here's the information I need from you to get your visa. And then I'm going to bring you out to China, and I will show you the country, and then we'll visit 3 cities, 3 schools in different cities. And you will do a one day, one-man version of Believe in each of those cities at those schools. And I did. And that was the beginning of a relationship with this gentleman. His name was Daniel Song. He has since passed on. but he ended up becoming a very good friend of mine for the short time that we knew each other. And we worked on a number of joint projects where we combined Believe with China. So my next question is, how many projects has Believe done in cooperation with schools and organizations in China? Okay, so let's count it this way. So what I just described to you of me going there, let's count that as one. Okay, that was one trip to do one thing, even though I went to 3 different schools, 3 different cities. Let's just count that as one thing. Okay, so that's one. How many did we actually end up doing in a short amount of time? Any guesses? How many projects did we do in cooperation with China? In with Believe? Any guesses? How many? And Scott, don't cheat. Actually, I don't mind if you cheat. I mean, it's okay. It's not that deep. In fact, I'd love for people to go visit the website and learn more about Believe, if you're so inclined, because we definitely want to. Now that we've continued and we're into our 7th, going on our 8th year, I want to expand that. Okay, so Miss Renita Cook says 4. Okay, so 4. Let's see. How many did I actually do? I'm counting on my fingers down here where you can't see. So there was that first one where I went by myself. Just making sure I'm right. Okay. So Miss Renita, you are not right. Sorry. So who else would like to venture a guess? But thank you for playing. Thank you for guessing. Your cheating equals my research. Well played. Well played. I love that. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's Tanya. Okay, is that a guess or are you cheating or researching? It's 3. Yeah. So if you count it the way that I was counting them, there were 3 projects. The first project was, like I said, when I went out by myself and I went to the 3 schools in the 3 different cities. The next time was one of those schools that I visited brought students and faculty to California. And we did a weekend camp version. Oh, she says it was a guess. Okay, very good. Good. That's awesome. So Scott's the only cheater, researcher. um, so so yeah, so it was 3. So the second one was when they brought out students and faculty members from the school from one of the schools in China that came to California, and we did a weekend version of Believe, with some of the team, and we even did a fun thing where what we did is we combined students from my after school program. I invited some of them to come and participate, and so it was a multicultural environment. So it was American students and Chinese students together, learning together and performing together and the whole thing. And it was so much fun. In fact, we ended up even asking some of the parents of the American students if they wanted to host some of the kids, in their homes. And so they did. They took the kids home with them and they spent a couple of days with them, and they just had a blast. And I remember them all giving very positive feedback of like, oh, that was amazing. We had so much fun. We learned so much from those kids, and we were able to show them things. And it was just fantastic. It was a great learning experience, an extension of what we were already doing in the camp. It was an extension for them to embrace those kids and bring them into their households and their families. And it was just awesome. And again, our hope was to continue that and to grow that, and still is. But the fact that my friend passed away kind of cut all that short, because he's the one with all the contacts in China. I didn't really have those. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, 3. So yay. Okay, so the I think that was the last question, right? Name the states, city. Yeah, okay. So that's all I was going to ask about beliefs. So now we're going to switch topics. And now we're going to talk about my past guest on this show. So if you've watched this show before, you may know the answer to these. Otherwise, just guess, and it's all good. Okay. So these questions have to do with my past guest. Now, I have had um, some guests from different countries. And when I say guests, I mean people who came on screen with me and everyone could see them and we talked and had discussions, right? So I interviewed them and they were on screen with me. So my first question is name two countries of origin for my international guests I've had in the past. Name two countries where those guests came from. Okay, just name two of the countries. I've had guests, international guests from other countries, and I have some more coming up the pipeline soon. But um, I've had international guests before, and I'm asking you to tell me two of the countries that those guests came from. Um, okay, so Didi says South Africa and Japan. Uh, okay, so that's your answer. Let's see. Um, my daughter Kiki says Japan and Germany. That's her answer. Okay. Who else do we have? We have Renita. She's saying Italy. Interesting. Italy, yeah. um, let's see if anybody else is gonna guess. Let's see if yeah. See, Scott's not gonna even guess on this one because he can't cheat. He had to watch the shows to know. He can't go back and look and see. Um, Scott, I hope you know I'm just joking. I'm just teasing you. Uh, it's not that deep. Miss Renita's laughing. Um, so we have guesses of South Africa, Japan from Didi. Kiara says, Kiara's my youngest daughter. She's out in Southern California. She says, hi, Keek, by the way. Uh, enjoying your new phone? um, I'm putting all her business out in the world. Um, Japan, Germany, and Miss Renita says Italy. My oldest daughter, Kayla, says, I know Germany for sure. Do you know that for sure? Are you sure? Are you really sure? And then, hold on, let's see. Oh, wait. Okay, Mr. Melvin Keith, how are you, sir? Good to see you. He says China and Italy. Scott is guessing. He says South Africa and Great Britain are recent ones I remember. Huh. Okay. Okay. Kiki says hi. Okay, she didn't get the phone yet. It's being shipped. Recent ones. Oh, are you answering my question? I said, are you sure? Are you really sure? She goes, no, I'm not. And then Miss Karen says Australia. Okay. All good guesses. And I will tell you that two of them are right. And you've got me questioning a third one. Scott, I think you're half right. I don't think you're right on the second one. Because so he guessed South Africa and Great Britain. I don't think I've had a guest from Great Britain on the show. I don't think I have. I've talked about it, but I don't think I've had yet. Um, so you'd have to tell me who that was because I don't remember ever actually getting someone from Great Britain. So no one who's had a guess has guessed both, but the two countries have both come up. So they actually are South Africa and Germany. So yeah, so those are the two Those are the two. Oh, should have cheated. But that's awesome though. Yeah, so South Africa and Germany. So I've had I want to say I've had two guests from Germany, and I know I've had one who's appeared a couple of times from South Africa. In fact, she was on. Christine Bam was on just a couple of weeks ago on the program. So well done, everyone. Well played. Okay. Next question. One of my guests that I've had on the program before, and actually this guest I've had on a few times on the show. He was one of my earliest guests when we first started 2 years ago, and I've had him on, uh, I'm going to guess at least 3 times. Probably should have him back on again because he's just fascinating to me. But he works with and has for years worked with a world famous singer songwriter, very famous singer songwriter. I'm not even going to ask you to name who my guest was. I want you to name who the world famous singer songwriter was. And I'll even tell you who the guest was. And I guess I'm providing the means for you to cheat, but that's okay. So the guest was my good friend Kai Brackett. So who is it that Kai Brackett works with? Kiki, that's not even fair. You totally know, like you've actually worked with him. So I mean, not the artist, but you worked with Kai before. So Kiara says Barry Manilow, and that is correct. So Kai Brackett has worked for years as a backup singer, choreographer, and co-director with Barry Manilow for years. Vegas and Broadway and all kinds of stuff like that. So Kiki's laughing. Yeah. Yeah, she's known Kai since she was a young girl in grade school. She's known Kai forever. I don't think she's ever met Barry. I don't think, anyway. So let's see. Dee Dee, yes, she guessed Kai, Barry Manilow. Yes, absolutely. Then my friend Neville Davis. Blessings to you, my brother. Belated happy Thanksgiving. Good to see you. Oh, you got my daughter says she got it before I said Kai though. Very good. Okay, I give you credit. I'm just messing with you. Good job. Okay. So for anybody who's just tuning in, we're playing a little game. I'm doing different categories, but just asking questions. So kind of trivia questions. Right now, the theme is past guest on this show. So if you've watched this show before, then you might know the answers, but feel free to guess anyway. A lot of people are guessing some of these, and some of us are cheating anyway. But it's all good. So question number 3 in this category. One of my guests is the descendant, and Kiki, you can't do this one. You're not allowed to guess this one. Or Kayla, you guys aren't allowed to guess this one. One of my guests is the descendant of 2 major figures from American history. One of my guests that I've had before, and I've actually had this person on a couple of times too, is the direct descendant of 2 major figures from American history. Name the 2 figures. Kiki's like, dang it. Of course you know that one. And Didi says she's researching. Oh no, that's a shame. Like you have to know that, Didi. You have to be kidding. Hopefully you're kidding, because I think you know too. But I want to give other folks a chance to see if they know who it is. Should I tell you the guest's name? Yeah, I'll tell you the guest's name so that you can research who the guest was. So the guest was Ken Morris, Kenneth Kenny Morris. And he is a direct descendant of 2 major figures from American history. two, and we've had him on the show a couple of times. And actually, he was my special guest as part of my, what do you call it, Unity virtual that we did. He was a special guest for that. Dee says she's not kidding. I was correcting your cheating statement. Oh, okay. Thank you. Not cheating, researching. Okay. So Ken Morris, or Kenneth Morris, he's the direct descendant of two major figures from American history. Name the two figures. I'll even give you another hint for those of you who are from. Oh, okay. We got one. Miss Tanya. So I'm wondering, was that a guess? She says Frederick Douglass. Yes, that's one of them. That's one of the historic figures, American history. And she has the other one, Booker T. Washington. Yes. So my friend Kenneth Morris is a direct descendant of both Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington, who are, undisputedly, they are two major figures from American history. So yeah. So Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington, that's the answer to that question. Okay. Okay, I have one more from that category. One of my guests starred as the. Oh, you researched it. Okay, cool. Miss Tanya said she researched it. That's awesome. And Renita Kick said she knew that. Yeah, in fact, I've actually had him here in Bogalusa before. He spoke to a group of people, and we took him over to the high school, and he spoke to the high school students and the junior high students, and gave them a lesson on that history. So he was kind enough to do that several years ago. I don't remember exactly how long, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. Anyway, last question about my past guest. One of my guests starred as the voice/host for a long-running PBS television show. I want you to name the show. One of my guests starred as the voice for a long-running PBS television show. He would also be seen, but he but you heard his voice a lot more than you actually saw him on screen. But you did see him on screen. A long-running PBS television show. I had a guest who was on, and that was one of the things that he had done for years and years and years. And I'll go ahead and tell you that his name is Mark L. Wahlberg. Okay, Mark L. Wahlberg. He's been a guest on my show at least once, I think twice. Oh yes, twice for sure. Yeah, twice. Love to get him back. He's another person I just find fascinating, just such a good human being, and I always learn things from him. He always has such interesting perspectives or ways to view things. So again, one of my guests starred as the voice/host, kind of for a long-running PBS television show. The show is still on the air, or I think it is, still airs. I want you to name the show. What show was he the voice of, and he also on it for a while? Okay, so Rebecca says Sesame Street. Nope. Good guess though. Long-running PBS show, Sesame Street, absolutely. But that's not the correct answer in this case. And Kiara saying she's embarrassed because she can't remember. You can't remember? What? Well, I can get that. I get that you don't. Let's see. Neville says my son produced one of the what? I want to hear the rest of that, Neville. What did he produce? Dee Dee says, love Mark, bring him back. Oh, I gladly. He has an open invitation anytime he wants to come back. Miss Renita is asking for a clue. Was it a cartoon? It was not a cartoon. It was I guess you could call it a reality show, um, TV show, but it's been on forever, for a really, really long time. And he was the voice of the show. And again, he would appear on screen, but uh, only once or twice, maybe at the very beginning and at the very end. I think that was it. But you'd hear his voice. Um, Otherwise, Mark L. Wahlberg. Okay, so Novell is answering my question. Sorry, my son produced one of the female artists on The Voice 4 years ago, Celeste Benton. Oh, cool. Very nice. I didn't know your son was a producer. Awesome. I guess he got that naturally, huh? That's very cool. Celeste. I wonder if that's the same Celeste that I know. Anyway, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on screen just so people can see it. So she's at trade show or something. You're very close. Yes, you're very close. Anybody? Anybody? You can totally cheat. It's okay to Google if you want to. I think I scared away my friend. It's very close. She said trade show or something, and Miss Tanya says antique roadshow. Ding 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 ding. That's it. Antiques Roadshow. Yep, that's the show. Mark L. Wahlberg was the host voiceover talent for that show. Yep, there you go. Um, yes, I would like to share one day. He is going to be featured on Undercover Billionaire January 8th. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk soon. That'll be fun. That'd be awesome. Um, yeah, but so the answer to the question was Mark L. Wahlberg was um, the person we were looking for. So he's been on the show before. Um, and for those of you who may have watched one of those episodes, one of the things we talked about the last time that he was on was his wife is also a celebrity. um, she's an actress and dancer, um, among other talents. And one of the things that she's kind of noted for, in fact, he posted about it, is that she's the first person to be killed in Friday the 13th, the movie Friday the 13th. Um, so, yeah, so that's one of her claims to fame. Robbie Wahlberg. So anyway, so that's that. Um, so okay, we don't have a lot of time left. Let's see. We have 12 minutes. Okay, so okay, let's go ahead and knock these out. Okay, so I'm going to ask you two questions that are have to do with the United States government slash history. Okay, the first one is um, what are the three branches of government in the United States? What are the three? Oh, you're all good, man. That's what this is. It's an open exchange. It's all good, and I appreciate knowing that. So it's we're good, my brother. You're all right. um, so the question is, what are the three branches of government in the United States? Three branches of government. I'm always amazed how many people don't know the answer to this question or other questions. Okay. Well, check you out. Okay, my daughter already answered, and I'm going to say yes, she answered correctly. And okay, so it looks like most everybody's getting it. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead. Dee Dee answered correct. Scott answered correct. Tanya answered correct. I'm going to put Scott's answer on the screen. Executive, legislative, and judicial. So executive meaning like in terms of the federal government would be president, president, vice president, that's federal level. Legislative, that's Congress. So that's our representatives and our senators, the ones who make the laws and all that stuff. Judicial, judges, Supreme Court, and federal judges and stuff like that. So yeah. What? Incoming Alabama Senator Tuberville didn't know this. Excuse me. Ms. Renita said, stop talking about my incorrect answer. We're just having fun. We are just having fun. That's awesome. So yeah, executive, legislative, and judicial. Okay, second question. This should be fun. Which federal document talks about the separation of church and state? Which federal document talks about the separation of church and state? I'm sure we've heard people talk about this on the news, and especially, election time when different things pop up. That term, that idea of the separation of church and state. What federal document mentions the separation of church and state? What federal document? After this election, who doesn't know this? Kiara says Constitution. Any other guesses? What federal document talks about the separation of church and state? Dee Dee says Bill of Rights. Interesting. Scott says First Amendment of the Constitution. Separation of church and state. Okay. Tanya says First Amendment. And Renee saying yes, Kiara. So she agrees with Kiara. Now you got me questioning, because two people have said the same thing. I'm wondering. I think that's an interpretation, though, of it. Because I'm going to tell you what I think the answer is, but if someone has can prove me wrong, please tell me. I don't think it appears in any federal document. So I meant that to be a trick question, because that's actually from something that Thomas Jefferson wrote as an opinion about something, and first clause of the Bill of Rights. So wait, is that right? I think you're all reading that as an as a kind of an interpretation of that. So the first, if I remember correctly, the Bill of Rights, which would be the First Amendment of the Constitution, is freedom of speech. But I don't think it directly, at least I didn't think so. I don't think it directly talks about separation of church and state. That actual phraseology comes from something that Thomas Jefferson wrote. Okay, great. Yeah. So the phrase isn't in the First Amendment, but the principle is there. That's what I thought you meant. Yeah, I can totally see that. The first clause. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So the first clause states, what's BOR? States Congress, Bill of Rights, sorry. I'm like, what is BOR? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Okay, I get you. And Tanya said, yes, it's a paraphrase from Thomas Jefferson. Yeah, so I was being silly. I was kind of being unfair. So technically, it, yeah, I figured it out now. yeah, technically that particular phrase, and people use it all the time to justify other things. Um, they talk about the separation of church and state, and it has been used to justify different decisions that have been made, like by the Supreme Court. Different things regarding uh, religious institutions, and just make sure there's a separation. Um, but yeah, I mean, basically, you guys are right though, in the sense that the spirit, the principle, is in uh, the First Amendment, the first of the Bill of Rights. Yes. So yes, absolutely. Um, yeah, I had you thinking. See, it's a good thing. That's fun, right? Um, okay, so we only have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to throw these out, and these are totally random, um, and these are questions about me. Okay, first one is, since I'm getting ready. Well, you already know one half of this. What are my two favorite NFL teams? I technically have two teams that I have historically said are my teams. Like most people have one team. I've had two. So I grew up with two of them. So what do you think they are? One of them I kind of already mentioned. So as a reason for delaying or having the show sooner. Yes. So one of them, as Miss Tanya says, who dat? Who dat, baby? Yeah, the Who Dat Nation. Saints. In fact, I almost wore my Saints cap uh, today for the broadcast. I will definitely be putting it on later. Dee Dee wrote New Orleans Saints, and so New Orleans Saints is correct. And my youngest daughter, Kiara, I'm so proud of you that you know this. She actually knows her father. So the correct answer is Cowboys and Saints. So as a little boy, I was first a Cowboys fan. Um, because I loved the helmet. To be totally honest, it was all about the helmet because there's a big star on it, and blue is my favorite color, and that was one of their colors is blue, and so instantly I went, oh, Dallas Cowboys, that's my team, and so historically that's been my team. In the last couple of years, I've kind of taken issue with them and their ownership on some issues, so I will throw that out there. And that's a discussion for another time. So I haven't been pulling for them quite as much in the last couple of years. Uh, but but I always pull for the Saints. So very good, Kiki. My youngest actually knows her father a little bit. And then one last question. We have 2 minutes left, so let's see. And Kiki, you can't do this one. Name two companies or organizations that I've worked for. Name two companies or organizations that I've worked for. Do not include Believe or Icon Performing Arts, which is the umbrella of Believe. Two companies that have hired me to work for them in the past. Two companies / organizations that I've worked for. And if you know me really well, that could be a whole list of things. But two companies or organizations that I've worked for. Anybody? 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 Wow. That was quick. Okay, I'm going to throw it up there because we're kind of running out of time anyway. Young Americans and Yahoo. Those are both correct. Yes. I worked for the Young Americans. I was a member of the Young Americans, obviously, and an alumnus, but I've worked for them in many different capacities as director and some other things. And Yahoo, I'm loving these answers that are popping up. And I worked for Yahoo. I was part of the management team that headed up um, the editorial department for their search engine for Yahoo. So yeah, so we have Miss Karen said YA, because that's how she knows me. So that's correct. Dee Dee said Paramount. Nope, not me. I've spent a lot of time at Paramount though, with friends who worked there, Paramount Studios in Hollywood. But nope, I never worked there. Rebecca says Dare. So yeah, actually, you're right. I There were a number of years where I worked for Dare because they did summer camps back in the day, and I would come in and teach dance routines and stuff like that. Um, Kiara says goto.com and Tibby's Music Hall. Yes, those are both correct. Goto.com was the first company I worked for, tech company that was eventually bought out by Yahoo. So yes, both of those correct. Tibby's Music Hall. Yep, I worked uh, for them in a couple of different capacities. Yes. Dee Dee says as a temp at Paramount. Nope, I never temped there either. Um, I temped at other places in Hollywood for MCA Records, Uni Records. Uh, oh, I know what you're saying. Okay, I get why you're saying that because my office was on the Paramount Studios. Oh no, it wasn't on Paramount. It was on Universal Studios lot. So I think that's what you're thinking of. It was there, and people were saying dinner theater, Kaleidoscope. Okay, now I know you're cheating, Miss Tanya. You had to have looked that up somewhere. Kaleidoscope Arts Factory. Yeah, Kaleidoscope Arts Factory actually was a nonprofit organization that I owned with some friends in cooperation with some friends. That was kind of the birth of my after school programs and stuff. And there's no way you could know that unless you look that up. And then Scott, yes, Scott. Scott wrote United Federation of Planets, red shirt, which means I got taken out on any away mission. I was the first to go. I want to be a red shirt. I want to be a blue shirt. I want to be Spock, man. Nope, that's the one to be. Um, and Tucker says again, not cheating, researching. Absolutely. Um, oh, decent. Yes, when you called the celebrities in the Rolodex. Yeah, I told that story a little while back when I worked at for MCA Records. My office was in a bungalow on the Universal Studios lot, so where all the offices for the TV shows and movies and stuff were, and they had a Rolodex they put on my desk. They just had all these famous producers and artists and and yeah, so yeah, I had that at one point. And then Rebecca says a long time ago when we were young. Well, you're still young. I'm the old one. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. And even if you're watching this on replay, I hope you got a little bit of a blast, a little bit of entertainment from it. Thank you again. We will see you again next week. I'll be posting as soon as I confirm who the guest is and all of that. I'll set that up. But I also want to let you guys know, if you want to just check it out. Last week I tried it. It didn't work, but I think it should have worked this time, that we were simulcasting on YouTube. So I do have a YouTube channel for Believe TV. So I encourage you to go and check that out. Like it. So I want to get some likes there and stuff going. And it has some past episodes on there. I'm slowly trying to upload some of the past episodes to it, but today was the first time that it should have been, what was going live here should have been broadcasting live on Yahoo. So if you're watching it live on Yahoo, thank you guys for that as well. Thank you. Everybody's saying they really enjoyed it. Tanya said she enjoyed it. Dee Dee said that was fun. Love games. Me too. I love playing games. Renita says it was great, Bruce. Karen says nice again. Thank you guys so much. What would be even more fun is we need to do this where people come on the screen and we play some games like this. So we're gonna have to work that out too. So thank you guys again so much for for tuning in to Believe TV and spending some time with me. I'll see you guys next time, but spread the word so we can get some more folks. And Neville, I want to definitely get with you. So message me privately in Messenger, and then let's talk about that and some other topics. Okay. Thank you all so much. And also, I will say one last thing. If any of you are interested in any more information about the Believe camps, believe it or not, we are already starting to kind of plan stuff for next year. So if you'd like, and we're going to have some new offerings and things like that. So if you have any interest in that, and would like to bring us to your area, there are lots of different ways to do it. Doesn't even have to be the full week camp. It can be a weekend. It can be a one-day thing, whatever. So we'd love to hear from you. Along the bottom of this, you'll see my email address and also the website. So if you go to the website, believecamp.com, and then go to the contact page, you can contact me that way, or just email me directly at bruce@iconarts.org. Okay? Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next time. Peace out.